Welcome to What Am I Looking At, a podcast from the Department of Art and Design at Arkansas State University. My name is Dr. Tima Balducci, and I'm a professor specializing in modern and contemporary art. Throughout this series, each presenter will be giving insight into works of art that are in some way unusual, sometimes strange, sometimes hard to understand. I hope you enjoyed today's exploration of the visual on your radio. I want to focus on a movement that got its start in the 1960s. As you might know, and some of you probably remember, the 60s was a decade of social unrest that included anti-war protest, the beginnings of the civil rights movement, the environmental movement, the feminist movement, and general countercultural mayhem. All of these protest movements found expression in various ways in the art of the period. Earth art, which is my focus today, is a good example of this. At its core, earth art was about taking art out of the confined, rarefied spaces of museums and galleries that only a certain segment of the population visited. Artists instead wanted to put their art out into the world, actually in the landscape. They were influenced by prehistoric and indigenous art traditions. So think of large objects on the land, like Stonehenge or Native American burial mounds. These types of structures are a permanent part of the landscape, and so for hundreds, if not thousands of years, they have been subject to the weather and erosion, not protected from the elements. The same is true of earth art. It tends to be massive, involving earth-moving equipment and teams of workers. And the idea is that these works will eventually be worn from wind and rain to such an extent that they will be unrecognizable or even cease to exist altogether. So these works are different in many ways from more traditional paintings and sculptures. One, they are not preserved in a climate-controlled environment surrounded by guards and alarms. There are also no admission fees to see the art, and there's nothing to buy or sell at an auction. So the works are out of circulation and off the market. They are no longer commodities. Robert Smithson's Spiral Jetty of 1970 is one of the best-known examples of earth art. It is made of large rocks arranged in the shape of a spiral that originally extended 1,500 feet out into the Great Salt Lake in Utah. Later, for several years, Spiral Jetty was submerged underwater, where the movement of the water and sand shifted the rocks. Today, the water has receded, and Spiral Jetty is quite distant from the waterline, with the rocks getting bleached by the sun and eroded by wind and rain. So after even just 50 years, Spiral Jetty is no longer pristine and is beginning to look worn. This ebb and flow and change is what earth art is really about. Like most examples of earth art, Spiral Jetty is remote and inaccessible. This is largely because of the sheer size of the works and the cost of the land where they are placed. This is actually one of the ironies of this type of art. It was moved out of the esoteric spaces of museums and galleries, but because of the requirements of size and the logistics of placement, it remains out of reach for most people. What Am I Looking At is provided by KASU in collaboration with the Department of Art and Design at Arkansas State. Stay tuned next week for another look at art over your airwaves.